adult, a young adult. I was in my senior year of college, and I was spending my first Christmas with my new boyfriend, who I was absolutely in love with. I was a senior in college. I was going to be a teacher. I was dating this guy who was in his second year of graduate school at Duke to become a pastor. Spoiler alert, he got married. But that first Christmas, he gave me this box, and it was wrapped beautifully. It had this amazing bow on top. I learned later his mom helped him wrap the present. But I opened it up, and inside was this Bible. And I was like, oh, this is what it's like to date a pastor, I guess. You get a Bible for Christmas. But what he knew then, I had not yet accepted God's call on my life to become a pastor. And in it was written, like, I can't wait to see the journey God puts you on. And as I opened this Bible and I read it, I opened this Bible and read it in prisons with women who needed to know about the light and love of Jesus. I've read this Bible at the bedside of people who've received terrible diagnosis. I've read this Bible in the darkest and hardest times of my life, and I found its promises to be true. For 12 years, I got a gift that I didn't really want at that moment, but that I so desperately needed. And I've thought about that this Christmas. How maybe looking back at 2020, so many of us can think about some things that we wanted that we haven't really gotten. But at the end of the day, maybe we have and have been given what we need. I've taken great hope in this Christmas story that these shepherds who were living in their fields at night, they were literally asleep in their fields at night, protecting the only thing they owned, their sheep. They had to be scared to death. Maybe what they wanted was real light. Maybe what they wanted was real good news. Maybe what they wanted was real good hope. And what they got was an angel, which had to be a little bit scary, right? An angel in the sky telling them a baby has been born. That couldn't be the gift they wanted. That couldn't have been the gift they wanted. But they would go to a manger and find that Jesus was born, and it was the gift they and the whole world needed. I think about Mary and Joseph, who were engaged to be married. I've been there before. I know what you want when you're engaged. You want a beautiful engagement party. You want a wonderful wedding, an amazing reception to send you off into life, right? I'm sure that's what they wanted. And what they got was a baby. That God told them that they were going to have a baby in a dream. Not the gift they wanted, but a gift they would find out they needed so desperately. The Savior of the world was going to be born to them. I have to think about those people in the village, in that town of David, where Jesus was born. It was a town that was torn apart by violence and economic issues, financial troubles, right? Like their very fiber of their community felt like it was crumbling. And the shepherds went and told them about a baby that was born. I'm sure what they wanted was some economic security, right? I'm sure what they wanted were for things to be okay and hopeful. And the shepherds told them about a baby that was born, the Savior of the world, the Messiah, the promised one, the one they longed for. Not what they wanted or were looking for, but what they so desperately needed. Think about the government at that time. It was going crazy to get more money and more power, right? And what they heard about from the wise men is there's a baby that's been born. Not the gift they wanted, right? They wanted something that would help prop their government up to get more money and more power. Not the gift they wanted, but the gift they needed. Jesus, the Savior and the light of the world. Maybe tonight you can remember over this past year when we've got some gifts that we needed, but that we didn't necessarily want. I think about those Amazon packages that arrived at my house in March and April when we were all locked up in our houses. They were driven to my house by a UPS worker or Amazon driver. I wanted those packages delivered in 24 hours, but I didn't know how bad we needed those delivery workers until March or April, or a couple of weeks ago when we saw those truck drivers get in their trucks stocked full of a vaccine that the driver would not get in his arm himself, but but was hightailing it to the healthcare workers who we didn't exactly know that we wanted in this past year, but who we figured out we so desperately need. We can look back and see that this Christmas story has been true all year long. We've not always gotten what we've wanted, but God continues to show up and give us what it is we need. I think of those small businesses that we so desperately want, the things they offer to our community, but we found out this year we need them. They're actually the backbone of what it is that we do. God showed us what it is that we need. And over 2,000 years ago, God showed a dark and hopeless world what it was they needed. It was Jesus, the Savior of the world. I don't know what it is you want to be under the Christmas tree this year. I don't know what it is you so desperately want. I have a few things I want. But can we trust this Christmas story to come alive again tonight, that God has already given us what we need. God has given us the gift of Jesus, the Savior and the light of the world. We have what we need. That's what we celebrate tonight. That maybe it's not exactly the gift that we want, but Jesus is the gift we all need. And here's the greatest part of our Christmas story, that in a few moments we'll light candles in this dark room. In a world that maybe has told you for a year they don't necessarily want you, God's gonna say, I need you. I need you to be like those shepherds who spread the good news of my light and love in a world that was dark and that needed us. I need you, God says tonight. God says, maybe this year hasn't been exactly what you wanted, but I need you to go into the world with this light, because you have what you need, a Jesus who has shined light and ignited change in your life. And God says it's time for us to do that in the world too. So are we ready? Are we ready for this Christmas story to be true? That we have what we need, that God is with us indeed. And all God needs is a few people gathered in a sanctuary with masks on your face to head out there in a world and to share that light and good news. Christmas is here. We may not have what we want, but we have what we need. Will you pray with me? God, we thank you for the gift of Jesus. We thank you, that God, you gave us exactly what we need. Amen.
At this time, I want to invite you to financially give to Horizon Church. In a world that is weary, we've still been able to shine light and ignite change because of you. Because of you, we've been able to brighten the day of a hospital worker. Because of you, we've been able to come alongside our partner school. Because of you, we've been able to feed those that are going without today. Because of you, we're shining light, igniting change. And we want to continue that work in 2021. Please consider making a gift today. If this is your first time worshiping with Horizon, please feel no obligation to give. If you came prepared to give today, go to horizontpa.info to make a gift, or text any dollar amount to the number 84321. Thank you so much.
Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord. Forever we will praise thee. His power and glory evermore proclaim. His power and glory evermore proclaim. So we fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices all night divine, all night when Christ was born. All night, oh
Hear these words in John chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Tonight, I will light my candle from the Christ candle, and I will share that light with you all. We ask you to leave your candle lit, and in the last verse of Joy to the World, if the folks in the back will just process out into your cars, and if you'll blow your candles out outside, you'll have to take the mask after that. So if you'll just, in the last verse of Joy to the World, we're going to sing Silent Night together, and then Joy to the World, and if you will just start from the back and go out, just keep enough distance between folks so we can feel safe tonight. The light has come. Jesus has been born. The Savior of the world is with us. God's promise of Emmanuel is true.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heaven heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds play at the side, glory stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord of thy brood, Jesus, Lord of thy brood. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let all their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat, repeat the sounding joy. Joy, unspeakable joy, an overflowing well, no tongue can tell. Joy, unspeakable joy. Soul, it never lets me go. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders, wonders of his love. And we're singing joy, joy, unspeakable joy, an overflowing well, no tongue can tell. It's all joy, unspeakable joy.